Hey everyone, Michelle back with another spooky Reddit read today. Episode 28. We are going to do a story about Duendes since they have been kind of popular. This one is titled Duendes in My Aunt's House. For those who don't know what duendes are, they're essentially elves or a leprechaun. These things are neither good or bad, I think they meant. But either way, they're mischievous. The bad ones are said to lure kids away, and the good ones will play pranks on you. Anyways, this happened when I was 13 or 14. It was probably one of the last times I went consistently. My aunt lived very close to a mountain near Oaxaca. Sorry if I messed that up, I'm not familiar with it. Her husband, my uncle, was pretty wealthy guy. He sold and bred livestock. He had a lot of horses, cattle, goats, and dogs. And their house was a pretty big place with lots of land for the animals. Of course, their house was very isolated. The closest town was a ways away. We went there one year to stay with her, and everything was normal for the first few days. When the weird started happening, it was once early in the morning. I wear wristwatches and I take it off to go to bed, and I put it back on after I brush my teeth and whatnot. I remember waking up, grabbing my watch and putting it on the top shelf outside the bathroom. I brushed my teeth and I came back to find that my watch was gone. I thought for a second and I looked around the shelf and underneath it and whatnot, and I did not find it. I went back to the room I was staying in and I looked around and I could not find it. I thought maybe one of my siblings was playing with me, and I looked around all three of my siblings were sleeping on the floor. That's when I started getting not scared, but worried. I go to look around the shelf more, and I still couldn't find it. I remember saying out loud, "Whoever took my watch, give it back, because I'm getting mad." I walked away to put my shoes on, and from the living room, I could hear a slight noise. It was my alarm on my watch going off. I peeked my head into the hallway and I could see a blue light from my watch. That's when I got scared. I walked up to it, put it on, and got an uneasy feeling. I go to watch TV and I see my aunt walking into the kitchen, and I say good morning, and I ask her if she grabbed my watch. She says no, but don't leave valuables in the open. I asked why, and she says the duendes will take them and hide them. I give an uncomfortable laugh and say, right. She obviously saw that I thought she was crazy. She told me she was serious and that the duende probably grabbed my watch. In my mind, I'm saying, this lady is nuts. Later on that day, I asked my mom if duendes were real. She gave me a concerned look and asked why. I told her my aunt said that there were duendes in her house. She steered me away from the question and just said, if you feel scared, just to pray. I didn't think much about it after that. I remember we watched a movie in the living room and I fell asleep on the couch. I remember waking up to a thud coming from the kitchen and footsteps running from the kitchen. The footsteps were light but still audible. It sounded like when a cat runs after a mouse or something. I see the lights turn on from the hallway, and I see my aunt running towards the kitchen. I hear her say, "Mendigos duendes," which means damn elves. Sorry, y'all, if I didn't pronounce that right, because don't speak the language. Trying to pronounce it accurately sometimes is hard. I slowly get up and peek in the kitchen, and it's a huge mess. A lot of stuff is knocked over. Most of it is food. I ask if an animal maybe got in, maybe a raccoon. She's aggravated of the mess and says, duendes. I roll my eyes and look at my watch. It's almost 4 a.m. I decided to help her clean up. We finished cleaning in about 20 minutes when I help her with the dustpan. It was one of those sucky ones where you had to crouch over it to hold it. When I crouch over it, I look to the huge pile of food, and I can see either sugar or flour is made out of little tiny footprints. Not like baby footprints, but smaller, like if a lizard had human feet. I look at my aunt and she knows I saw them. She says, I told you. I'm still not completely convinced, so I go to bed and wake up. Nothing happened for a few days. The last experience I had with these things was when I was sleeping and for some reason woke up. No reason at all. I remember feeling uneasy and hearing those footsteps again as something small was running in front of the bed. I sit up fast and I see a small shadow running weird, like waddling, but still moving kind of fast. All of this happened in a matter of seconds, and I turned on the lights and there was nothing there. I could make the shadow out, but it was small, maybe a foot tall. That's when I started believing in that shit. I was so uneasy after that. I was glad I was out of there. Let me know if you want to hear my last story from Mexico. I was reading because I thought it's where they're from. I thought the pronunciations were going to be Mexico. I'll probably start telling my unpersonal stories that were passed down to me. So that's their story, which was pretty interesting. What do you guys think? Duendes, gnomes, elves, leprechauns. I mean, for me, I tend to be a logical thinker, you know, so even though I believe in the paranormal, those are hard for me to be like, yeah, I've not had an experience. But I do know that there are a lot of stories and sightings and like this passed down through the Mexican culture here. Clearly this is a thing. And it's not just in Mexico. So it's very interesting. And if there's so many stories, how can they all be fake, right? But I've just never had an experience, and I'm a skeptic at heart always when I think about this stuff. So a lot of the small mischievous stuff would be very easy to mistake, like, oh, you thought you laid your watch there or whatnot. I tend to misplace stuff all the time in my house, but I would know that about myself. So that's kind of where my brain goes to. Like, if I was experiencing some of the stuff, the footprints are kind of interesting. The 1 foot shadow is very specific. So what do you guys think? Do you believe that whatever you want to call these things, these duendes, do you believe that they are a real paranormal cryptid that exists? What are your thoughts on them? What are your thoughts on the story? Do you believe it was duendes? Because I think it was pretty cool. So I meant to share it closer to St. Patrick's Day for you all. Sorry, I was a little behind. I was going to share it Monday, but I'm preparing for an investigation this weekend, so I've been real busy packing and repairing some equipment. So hope you like the story. Please hit the repost button for me, and please hit the follow if you haven't so that you can hear my others. See you next time.